How's it going, everybody? It's Pilot Flame, and we are back with another preseason FPL video. And today we're continuing our Team Watch series, the penultimate Team Watch series, and it's going to be for West Ham. This is where we take a look at all the different FPL assets for West Ham, which ones we like, which ones we don't like, which ones may be going under the radar, which ones we need something to change in order for them to be of value, as well as we'll take a look at what they are doing in the transfer market, which could become FPL assets or remove some FPL assets that we're potentially looking at. And this transfer market's definitely hotting up now. We have Messi leaving Barcelona today because they can't afford him. Jack Grealish is officially signed for Man City, so things are really starting to change rapidly. If you haven't done so already, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and turn those notification bells on so that you can get the content as soon as it is readily available. Make sure to drop us a follow over on Twitter so that you can keep up to date with any and all transfer news. Been retweeting a lot of that over there on Twitter, as well as join our Flames Recruits League. It is in the Twitter bio description. And lastly, make sure to give us a follow over on Twitch so that you can see when we go live for our FPL streams. That we're going to be doing those on for previews and deadline streams as per normal. Our first one is going to be next week, Monday. It's going to be 7 p.m. EST as per usual, so make sure to check us out for that. Now, without further ado, let's talk about our partners for the season in Fantasy Football Scout. We have partnered up with Fantasy Football Scout for this coming Fantasy Premier League season, and they're giving you an exclusive offer. Use the link down in the description to get 20% off your Fantasy Football Scout membership. It gives you access to the exclusive members area, which has new tools such as the 3-player comparison tool, as well as some old favorites such as the Rate My Team tool, the Season Ticker, and my personal favorite, the fully customizable stats tables, which you can share among other Fantasy Football Scout members, powered by Opta. Use the link down in the description below to get 20% off your membership today. Sign up now. Now let's start off by taking a look at some of West Ham's defensive options. Now their fixtures off the start in the first 4 are quite good. Newcastle away, Crystal Palace at home, Southampton away. Those look to be pretty good fixtures defensively. And if we look at some of their assets, we have Soufal and Cresswell being more of the attacking fullbacks, Craig Dawson more of the steady centre back, and they're all priced around the 5 million mark, with Cresswell being slightly higher just because he's on set pieces, which is good pricing in my opinion, because it allows you to have some form of a decision there. Big chances created, we can see Cresswell obviously getting 2 of those in the last 4 matches played. 10 chances created overall, 6 chances created for Soufal, but getting 2 shots in the box. So Soufal typically got forward into the box or took shots more often than Cresswell did. Cresswell was more of the chance creator, as he often played in a back 3 as the left-sided centre back. Very rarely did he play as the left wing back unless there was significant injuries, which he's definitely capable of doing, and played as left back as in if they were going for like a back 4 versus a back 5. So Cresswell, I think, versus Soufal, I think there's not much in it. Soufal is going to be someone who's going to bomb forward and be more from open play. Cresswell is going to be more from set pieces. So if you think that West Ham are going to do more damage set piece wise versus the opening 4 teams that they play, then probably go for Cresswell. But he is 0.5 more expensive, so it is a bit of a kind of a hit or miss there in terms of value, but it's also potentially a hit or miss if you get the wrong fullback, because both of them are very good on their deliveries. In terms of West Ham's stats, if you look at them, 82 big chances across the whole season, 323 shots in the box, 53.57 non-penalty XG. That shows how strong they were last season, coming 6th place, if I remember correctly, in the Premier League. So, and I think it was mainly due to the fact that Soufal, Cresswell were very good at creating chances. They had the likes of Antonio and also Jesse Lingard, who was on loan with them last season on the second half of the season and did quite well for them. So I think defensively, though, I think Soufal is definitely on my radar. So is Cresswell. There's a lot of managers out there looking at Digne, Shaw, and Trent as their main 3. But I think Cresswell could potentially provide better value than Shaw and Digne as well, because of the fact that he had more assists than both of them last season, if I remember correctly. I think he had the most assists in the whole of FPL for defenders. So I think Cresswell can definitely definitely provide that. And if they're West Ham, with some of the potential signings they could be making on the defensive side of things, center back wise, he's going to have some big targets to aim at, but we'll get to that in the transfer section. But I'm certainly thinking Soufal or Cresswell. I think Dawson's not really it at the moment. He is a set piece threat, but you want him getting on the likes of Soufal or Cresswell crosses and heading the ball in, and you can reap the rewards of the chance created and the assist points. So I think it's either of those two potentially for a third defensive option going into the FPL season. Now, that being said, let's take a look at some of the attacking assets that West Ham have to offer this coming FPL season. Now, with these fixtures, West Ham should do some serious damage. Newcastle should be quite straightforward and haven't been the greatest defensively under Steve Bruce, and were near relegation at various points in the season. Crystal Palace have a new manager, and Southampton have no real threat up front after they've sold Danny Ings to Aston Villa. Leicester will pose a threat, though, but I think at home you can definitely favor West Ham potentially in that one. But some of the key players that we have highlighted here is Ben Rama, Jared Bowen, and Antonio. Now, with only Antonio being the out-and-out, known striker, as it were, the one who basically can play up front quite comfortably, they're going to have to wrap him up in cotton wool every game, because they have Europa League this season, which could take a toll on Antonio and potentially causes injury to reoccur more often than they would like. So at 7.5 million, if he's fit, Antonio looks to be great. 2 big chances in the last 4 matches played, 4 chances created, 5 shots inside the box. He was a bit unlucky on the back third of the season. He struck the post multiple times and just basically didn't put the ball in the net when he should have, so it's a bit unfortunate there. But 7.5 million, definitely considering Antonio, especially now that Watkins now has competition over in Aston Villa, which can mean that 7.5 million forward slot that Watkins was taking up is now going to be replaced by Danny Ings, and Antonio can come in alongside him in our FPL team, so we'll have to check on that front. Ben Rom is someone that I'm very interested in. 6 million. I didn't realize he was that price. I thought he was 6.5, but one big chance in all of the last 4 matches that he played in the Premier League. 4 chances created, 3 shots inside the box. He reminds me a little bit of how Riyad Mahrez plays, in terms of he gets the ball, he's all action, and he just goes straight for the goal, basically, whether it's with a pass or with a shot. And I like that. And at 6 million, if he's the one playing game in, game out in the number 10 role, I think he could be fantastic value, especially if West Ham don't sign the likes of Jesse Lingard, who we'll touch on in the transfer section. Jared Bowen, who's someone who's also been linked potentially away as an option for Liverpool, still yet to be determined. There's any light rumors on that, but I think Bowen will be a West Ham player next season. 6.5 million. He had the highest XGI in the last 4 matches out of these 3 players with 1.46, and I think he could do well. He just seems to be very patchy in that sense, where I think Ben Rama could be a bit more of a consistent scorer and is slightly cheaper. But I think if you're going to look for something, and everything goes through this man, Antonio is your guy if you're looking for an attacking West Ham asset to target the first 4 fixtures of the season. And I think even Leicester, they can definitely score, because Leicester have their own defensive problems, with Wesley Fofana having a significant injury yesterday in their friendly versus, I believe it was Valencia. Johnny Evans is also out currently with, I believe, a foot injury as well. So at the back, they're not really looking too great. It's talks of Ndidi potentially going and covering at centre back, which we know what happened when Liverpool did that, and it doesn't end well if it goes to that same script. But yeah, I think Antonio is definitely one of the major front runners for at least my FPL team. Should be for yours as well. Soufal and Cresswell for defensive options, and I think an eye on Ben Rama potentially to see what team West Ham plays in their last friendly that they have in preseason. I believe that's probably going to be a lot of teams, I think, are potentially playing sometime this weekend or close to it, and just to get one more game out before the season starts next weekend. So yeah, I think definitely Antonio and maybe a West Ham defender is on a lot of people's radars, but I think Ben Rama could be potentially a kind of dark horse pick in our teams at the start of this season. Now, with that being looked at, with all of the West Ham players that are currently in the team, let's look at some potential future West Ham players that could be involved in the squad this season. Now, West Ham have done some decent business over this transfer window, but I still think they need to do more. If we take a look at some of the ins, they've signed Craig Dawson, as we mentioned, in the Watford transfer section of our team watch for Watford. He's come in on a permanent basis. He was on loan from Watford last season and has now joined West Ham on a permanent deal. I think it was £2 million, I believe. And these are approximations from Transfermarkt. They are not official unless announced by the club, but they are approximations and very close to it, so you can kind of get the idea. Alphonse Areola, someone who came in on loan to Fulham from PSG last season, is now on loan at West Ham. Now, I would have liked him to come in at 4.5 million. He's already in the game now at 5 million for West Ham, so maybe he's going to be starting over the likes of Lucas Fabianski, or maybe he's going to be splitting game time. We'll have to see. I think that situation could be a bit dicey, so I'm going to steer clear of that. Malinkovic from Fiorentina could be coming in as well. He's rumored to be around 25 million euros or 21.2 million pounds, and he could be someone who plays as a mainstay alongside the likes of Craig Dawson or Ogbonna, or all three in the back three, which would allow for them to push Cresswell forward. Now, that would be very interesting, because if they have three proper out-and-out centre-backs, they'll have Malinkovic kind of as the main one, Ogbonna as one of the right or left-sided ones, and then they'll have Craig Dawson as the other one, as Craig Dawson typically likes to, roam forward. Malinkovic, I believe, is left-footed, so maybe he plays as left-sided centre-back, and you have Ogbonna in the centre. We'll have to see kind of how that pans out, but that would allow Cresswell to be the main left-sided wing-back in a 3-4-3 system, which we would definitely like, even though he was creating just as much as he did at wing-back that he did at left-sided centre-back. But we'll have to see on that front. Maybe he'll still be performing the same role. He'll just be further up the pitch, which is what we like with our FPL assets. The closer they are to goal, the more points we could potentially be getting. But I think Malinkovic, he was touted as potential centre-back signing for United as well. So we'll have to see how that one pans out, but definitely interest there. And one of the outs was Balbuena. He has left the club as well. Again, a centre-back that was on the periphery as it is, and they're going for a bit more of a solid pick in Malinkovic potentially as a replacement. They were also looking at Kurt Zouma as well, because he was potentially in a deal that was involved there, but that seems to have cooled down a bit as well. Felipe Anderson, who was on loan last season, has now made a permanent move to Lazio for around £2.5 million. I think that West Ham do have a few players that they can play out in those positions. I mean, Ben Rama is quite versatile, can play across the whole front three. They have Jared Bowen there. They have Fornals there. Last season, they also had Jesse Lingard. Yarmolenko still plays there. Antonio can still play out on those flanks as well. And I think that if they get an out-and-out another striker, or someone who can play striker and maybe right side, I think they can definitely cover that hole there as well. And lastly, Jared Bowen, someone who has light links to Liverpool, but I don't think there's anything serious in that as well. I see, would just become a bench option for them, whereas I think at West Ham he's going to get full game time. It could be an FPL option. If he goes to Liverpool, he's just going to be a bench option for FPL players, and would basically kill him as an FPL asset. But yeah, that's it for the West Ham transfer rumors and signings that they've done so far. Let me know in the comments down below what position you think West Ham need to strengthen next, because I still think they probably need somebody that can play through the middle to potentially, alleviate some of Antonio's duties, but it can also be like a very versatile forward, someone who's stocky enough to play up front, or at least has the hold-up play, but can also be dynamic in the channels as well, much similar to Antonio. And if they can find one, that would be fantastic. But yeah, let me know what you think down in the comments below. And yeah, that's it for the West Ham transfers. And that is going to do it for our West Ham preseason Team Watch edition for this one. If you haven't done so already, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. It greatly helps out the channel, and turn those notification bells on so that you can get the content as soon as it's readily available. Drop us a follow over on Twitter if you want to keep up to date with all FPL transfer news and just FPL news in general. That's also where we post updates about the channels as well. And give us a follow over on Twitch so that you can see when we go live for our preview and deadline streams. We're going to be doing those over on Twitch this FPL season. And lastly, use the link down in the description below if you want to get 20% off your Fantasy Football Scout membership. It's a fantastic tool. It has a bunch of different resources in the members area to help elevate your FPL game. Thank you all for watching, and until the next one, Take care.